Hello everyone, Wednesday, October 4th, 2017. Of course, today was New Comic Book Day, which means right now tonight is New Comic Book Video Day. Before I get started, I would just like to thank everybody who sent messages, making sure that myself, my family were okay due to the terrible incident that occurred over the weekend at the Country Music Festival. Yes, we are. Thank you very much. But I am not going to talk about that. There are some people who wanted me to kind of give an opinion on how the city is feeling due to the incident, and I'll tell you how the city's feeling. The city is rattled, and it's something that's not going to go away overnight, but I am not going to get into that because we're going to talk about comic books. I have a new vintage book I'm going to show, and some movies we're going to touch bases on. So again, thank you for everybody who sent the well wishes, and we'll just kind of go from there. First book I picked up today, Jungle Fantasy, number 5, Adult Extreme. And Jungle Fantasy number 5, a different type of book right there. And there was the adult covers on those. Now we will jump right into the books. First book I picked up. This is Harley and Ivy Meet Betty and Veronica. There were 3 covers of this. This is cover number 1. Cover number 2. Sorry about the glare, as always. And cover number 3, which was a blank variant. Now, there were some people at the shops that were saying, oh, you know, why are you going to buy those books, blah, blah, blah. Those are just stupid. Okay, they might be, but it's the same thing people said when Batman versus Ninja Turtles came out and Spider-Man Deadpool and all those other storylines that have just taken off like a shot. I don't know how exactly that's going to fall into, but you know what? There's a good following for books like that. The crossovers seem to do very well, and I'm going to pick it up. So there was that. On with the books. Harley Quinn, Rebirth 29. New book today, a real big one, expensive one, Marvel Legacy number 1. Have not had a chance to read this yet, but apparently this is part of that whole reboot Marvel's trying to do. So I am looking forward to seeing that. It was just kind of a little campy book I picked up here. I do like the storyline. I've showed those before, which is the I Hate Fairyland storyline. And this was an I Hate Image cover. Kind of a Walking Dead homage. Image did a lot of Walking Dead books today. Kind of, you know, as The Walking Dead. And we'll get into a couple of more of those later. But just a really fun book. I like that character right there. I just think it's a really cool character, and this is done by Scotty Young. Scotty Young, as you well know, does a lot of the baby variants, and they are very popular. Part of the Dark Knight's metal tie-ins, Batman. There's that. You really can't see that too good because of the light. I do apologize for that. New book I'm excited about. This is a twist on a book I looked at this. And this is a 8-part series. This is number 1 of 8, and this is Batman White Knight. I haven't had a chance to read this yet, but if I am reading it correctly, that is the Joker right there in Harley Quinn, and he is supposed to be kind of the good guy. So I'm anxious to see this. I have not read the book, so don't hold me to that. But I think this is a storyline that's going to be really good, a nice short story. I don't know how limited these are going to be because a couple of the shops ordered it very, very heavy, but that is Batman White Knight number 1. Spider-Man Deadpool 22. Walking Dead 172. Of course, we are getting ready for the new season of Walking Dead this month in a couple of weeks. And like most of you are probably very excited about that. They did some different things for this. This is a new book that came out, and they had some of the Walking Dead covers, you know, took a take on the Walking Dead covers. This is Slots number 1 from Image. Another one I have not had a chance to read yet. There's that one. And of course, this next one, you're going to know exactly what this is takeoff on. There is Slots number 2, or excuse me, Slots number 1, cover 2. There's no doubt who that is. That's a little Negan action. And of course, the big book, in my opinion, well, there's a lot of big books, but this is Batman 32, and if you don't know what that is, a few videos ago we talked about Batman and the proposal for marriage. This issue has the answer, and it's a really good story. I read the story because I wanted to find out what the answer was. There you go, Joker and the Riddler with Batman, and he's kind of struggling with his, thought, but he's no better than they are, And of course, the answer to the proposal is at the end of the story. And I think they're going to go a lot of different ways with that. I am not going to say what it is, so you can look at it yourself and enjoy the storyline. So that's what we picked up as far as books, new books. One of the older books I picked up this week, again, I told you I would show you a book here and there. Again, this is not a very high-grade book. This is kind of a mid-grade book, a little lower than mid-grade, but I'm a lot tougher grader than most people. And this is Fantastic Four number 74. This is a Jack Kirby cover, of course. Silver Surfer, Galactus appearance. Really, really good. 12-cent cover. And again, these are getting harder and harder to find. This has a little bit of a date stamp on the side right here above the sticker. I don't know if you can see that. Of course, they say that is acceptable. It was small enough to where I usually don't like to get the date stamps. I like to try to get a clean cover. But again, 12-cent books are getting harder and harder to find. 10-cent books in halfway decent grade are getting almost impossible to find. Of course, I showed that Captain Marvel last week. So I will show the books I pick up every week. So this was this week's big one. To me, again, lower grade, nothing super high grade, but just something really, really nice, in my opinion, because it looks really good, pleasing to the eye, and that was Fantastic Four number 74. So, I said last week we were going to talk about movies every week. I was going to show you a couple of movies, so we're going to jump right into that. And the first thing we're going to talk about, I am a big Universal Monsters. I showed you the Steel books they came out with like The Mummy, Dracula, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I really, really enjoyed those. So, staying kind of in that time frame, the first one we're going to show is the Wolfman Legacy Collection. This is the complete collection. This is something that came out on Blu-ray. Now, I was kind of skeptical when the first Blu-rays came out because it was like, it's a black and white movie. How much cleaner can you really fix it? And these come out amazing. They are so crisp and clean, especially if you watch it on a 4K television. For some reason, it really pops. Now, this has 7 films in it. This has The Wolfman, of course, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. You can never go wrong with an Abbott and Costello. Werewolf of London, which is a great movie from 1935 if you have not seen that, and The She-Wolf of London from 1946. Not the greatest movie in the world, but if you have a chance to see Werewolf of London, that is a really good movie. You also get bonus features, which is Monster by Moonlight documentary, The Wolfman from Ancient Curse to Modern Myth, talking about Lon Chaney Jr., who is a master of course, the Wolfman and some of the other monsters. The Life and Art of Jack Pierce, who made the monsters, what they were, Wolfman Archives, and 2 feature commentaries and theatrical trailers. So there's the first one. I love these things. They come out with them. They had The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I have, not on Blu-ray. I have those on DVD. And so I'm going to ultimately get those. The second one in this group is 8 films, and this is the Frankenstein Complete Collection. This one has Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Just like the Wolfman had the same movie, because that one has Dracula the Wolfman, so when you buy the collections of these, you're going to get that movie on all the box collections where they were at. This one also has Frankenstein a monster documentary, She's Alive, which was a very good documentary as it relates to the creation of the Bride of Frankenstein, talking about Boris Karloff, Frankenstein Archives, Bride of Frankenstein Archives. There's a short film called Boo, and then Abbott and Costello Meet the Monsters, because Abbott and Costello went through a stage where a lot of their movies were the different monsters. That's a really good documentary. I have seen that one before. You also have 4 feature commentaries and theatrical trailers. So that right there, if you like this stuff, some of you might not like the vintage movies. I do like the vintage movies, so those are real good. Now, not to disappoint the new fans of more recent scary and the horror genre, I'm going to show you, Anchor Bay came out with a lot of movies that are real hard to find if they're Anchor Bay. This one isn't hard to find, and if you're a fan of this movie, I suggest that you get it, because this is an absolute incredible collection of movies. And this is Anchor Bay's Ultimate Edition of The Evil Dead. Now, I like The Evil Dead. If you kind of see when you open it up, there's all the different things that come out into it. Right there. Discs, And then, of course, you come, it's just, again, another book that opens up. And there's additional discs there for different things. Now, the good thing about this is not very expensive. You can find this for under 30 bucks on Amazon, brand new. And if you like this stuff, I would really jump on it. This comes up with, this is a 3-disc set, and it has The Untold Story of the Evil Dead, audio commentary with the writer-director Sam Raimi. The second part, that's the widescreen, has the widescreen movie. The second disc has the full frame, which I never liked full frame. Treasures from the Cutting Room Floor, which is basically just deleted scenes. And audio commentary from Bruce Campbell, which is really cool to watch the movie as he talks about it. And then disc 3 is just all ladies of the Evil Dead, talking about just different documentaries about the ladies that were in the book, or excuse me, in the movie. Still galleries, makeup tests, TV spots, things, you know, at the drive-in. Really, really cool set. Again, Anchor Bay, Evil Dead, Ultimate Collection. If you like that, get there. And I'm going to show different movies, you know, as it relates to October-themed movies. Again, this video is kind of all over the place because my mind is kind of elsewhere, obviously, with everything that's going on. And, you know, I do work at a hospital, and we are the trauma center hospital, so a lot of the people had gone in there, even though I didn't have to spend a lot of time there, thankfully. It's still, you know, a lot of stuff going on. So that's what we picked up, the books. Of course, the Fantastic Four right there. And again, my friend Joe, Fire Force Comics, inside the Bonanza Indoor Swap Meet. I know some of you have seen them, so thank you very much. If there's a movie you want me to touch bases on, or something that you have a question about, please send me a message. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I know some of you are going to give it the thumbs down. It's the same guys every week. That's okay. Enjoy yourself. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you liked the video, but if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great night.